What are the colors of a rainbow? I created this lesson as an add-on activity to teach along with other previously taught content material. I wanted my students to become more familiar with using their Chromebooks independently, so I created a lesson that could be guided as a whole group lesson but still required some independent work for each student. After a quick pre-assessment through SurveyMonkey, the students completed a web quest of the content. Then they had the option to create their own rainbow online and submit it for an extra 100 points counted toward their science grade. The content that I based this web quest on was from first grade science standards over the water cycle and then light. I also included some technology standards that help the students to develop some base knowledge of technology and basic skills of operation. I wanted to include a quick pre-assessment for this content just to see how much of the information the students have retained. To do this, I've created a very simple 5-question survey that the students completed using SurveyMonkey. After we finished the survey, I could very quickly and easily access the student responses and use their responses to lead a group discussion, allowing the students time to elaborate more on the answers they chose. After the pre-assessment, students were guided through this web quest. Each page of the web quest broke down a different part or reinforced the content that was being taught. Throughout the web quest, the students were introduced to a variety of different YouTube videos as well as different links that would take them to another page that may have an activity or a game that went along with the content that was being taught. The lesson was completed in class, and I used my class set of Google Chromebooks. Since we did this together with the school computers, I knew every child had a fair chance at a successful end assessment. Due to the low reading level of my students, I differentiated the lesson by adding video clips of myself reading the directions from each page. This way, when students struggled with words, they could simply click on the teacher at the top of the page and hear the directions again. Since students had their own computer, they worked independently, but each step was a group discussion and the students collaborated as a whole group about the different steps and processes they were completing. At the end of the web quest, students were given the opportunity to complete an assessment. The assessment was to successfully create a correct model of a rainbow, then print the model and submit it for bonus science points. The submitted papers were displayed in the hallway. This lesson was a big hit with my students. I struggled to include several forms of technology due to the lack of prior knowledge and experience with technology that my students had. Most of my students are special ed and struggle to complete anything independently, but I felt that through my implementation of any of the tools that they would at least gain some exposure to the tools and hopefully better their knowledge of using them in the future.